Hey guys, this is the first part of my Diddy trial video. Anthony Ricco finally left the courtroom and then Cassie spoke out. What she said shocked everybody. Let's start from the beginning.
There he is, ready for his 73-question interview. You know the drill. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Before we begin, how do I address you?
You can call me Love.
You got me a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
And Puff, where did that come from?
I can't tell you that.
I'm going to take your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, we control what your kids listen to. We control everything.
And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing.
When he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man.
It's so unfortunate.
You gotta pull back though, so they can see. That's crazy.
There's an old expression in the mafia and in life. What goes around comes around. And I think you're going to experience that, Diddy.
I put him to sleep. You put the drink on his head.
Hey guys, welcome back. I talked to you about Diddy before, but things are heating up pretty quick. Rape, assault, kidnapping. It's not just Cassie. There's a line of people stepping forward.
Anthony Ricco, one of Diddy's lawyers, has officially requested to be released from the case. And of course, everybody's initial reaction is he thinks Diddy is guilty. But that is not why he stepped away from the case. Give me a second to break down exactly what's happening here. And if any person is guilty of what Diddy has been accused of, he deserves to be in jail. But as of right now, Diddy still is owed a day in court. And Anthony Ricco is a decorated lawyer. He won an acquittal for one of the detectives involved in the murder of Sean Bell, a black man. He also represented Osama bin Laden. And I'm not joking. I mean, really not joking. He represented him twice. Once for the 1993 bombing of the U.S. Embassy in East Africa and the bombing of the World Trade Center. You're probably thinking, damn, Diddy really wants to win this case. I'm sure he does. And this man has never asked to be removed from a defense counsel ever in his 20-plus year career. So why did he ask to be removed from Diddy? The answer is found in his statement. This is a highly capable and shrewd defense attorney that found the need to say this as his parting shot. Although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. This is legal speak for I don't feel that I have been respected as competent and capable on this legal team. Keep in mind, he's not the primary lawyer. Mark Agnifilo is. Anthony Ricco was hired to essentially be the spokesperson for Diddy's defense team. He has 5 other lawyers. And although Diddy is very popular, Anthony's used to being the guy on much more serious and weighty cases like Osama bin Laden. What probably happened here is a difference of opinion on the direction of the defense. It's likely the other lawyers disagreed with his approach as well as Diddy, which created friction and caused him to feel he needed to defend his name and reputation as an attorney before this blows up in his face. Plus, he's from Harlem, and if you know anybody from Harlem, you know they're not gonna let you get the last laugh. Ha, Culture Decoded.
I'm not sure what made him back out. Anthony Ricco was my lawyer. He represented me. And I believe they're wrong. He didn't represent Osama bin Laden in the bombing of the World Trade Center. At that time, he was representing me. Wasn't true. A different lawyer, a woman, was representing him. So this is bullshit. This whole thing what this guy said is bullshit. He's a good guy. He's a competent lawyer. He's a great lawyer. I had him on my case. It was a cold case. I was indicted. The Iceman was a witness against me. Anthony Ricco was my lawyer throughout the entire process. Stuck with me. He's an honorable guy. I think he didn't believe in the case with Diddy. It's my opinion. He didn't want this blowing up in his face. Listen, whether you like P. Diddy or not, he did disgusting things. I think he deserves to be in jail. And I think Anthony Ricco must have felt the same way. He has kids, he has a family. I think he's just disgusted of what he did and walked away.
I was in the courtroom as Cassie was testifying, so let me tell you guys everything that you didn't see or may have not heard, because it's a lot. I will say the most damning part of her testimony for me is when she describes a freak-off where Diddy and another man, an escort, are standing on top of her while she is laying on the floor high off of ecstasy, and they are urinating on her face to the point where she is choking on their pee. And to further give context, on the right-hand side of the court seated is her husband, Alex Fine. On the left-hand side, Diddy's 6 out of 7 kids are sitting in the courtroom as Cassie is describing having weekly freak-offs for years that would last 2, 3, one lasted up to 4 days. She talked about damaging hotel rooms so bad in one instance that they had to pay such a hefty fee because the hotel told them that they needed to completely redecorate the room after a freak-off. After a freak-off, there would be blood, urine, and lots of baby oil. There was so much baby oil. There was also so much baby oil talk to the point where the judge at one point told prosecutors, wrap it up. But before we even got there, a very pregnant Cassie was called to the stand. She was wearing a tight brown turtleneck dress that was hugging her baby bump. When she sat down, you could tell she was nervous. And if you couldn't, you quickly picked up on it, because once she started talking, you noticed that she paused a lot. She would sigh heavily before she answered a question. One of those moments was when she explained to the court that a year into their relationship, that Diddy had approached her with this fantasy that he had. He called it voyeurism, where he wanted to see her have sex with another man, later referred to as freak-offs. She said her stomach dropped. She was 22 years old. She described herself as very naive and a people pleaser. She said the only reason that she agreed to it is because she knew it would make him happy, and she was afraid what would happen if she said no. That's also around the time, she says, that he started to get abusive. Most of her testimony today was spent on talking about these freak-offs, the different escorts that they would use, the different hotels that they would use. She said that she would find escorts off of Craigslist and this escort service called Cowboys for Angels. And to describe them, they weren't the most attractive men, right? They were very average looking. Some of them weren't even conventionally attractive. One thing they had in common is most of them were black, because Diddy preferred for her black men with a big D, she said. At one point, Cassie broke down in tears when the prosecutor asked her, why didn't you leave? If the freak-offs, as you explained, were so disgusting and humiliating, why not leave? And she started crying and said that she was very deeply in love, and this was the only alone time that she could get with Diddy. And it got to a point where this was kind of the only emotional connection that she was getting from this man that she was dating.
Here's a recap of the worst things Cassie said during her testimony against Diddy. Trigger warning: what she revealed in court is deeply traumatizing. Back in 2014, she claimed that Diddy's mom told him to lie down on the floor, then turned to Cassie and said, "Watch this, boo." Then she sat on Diddy's face. Cassie added that Janice said this was the only way to shut him up when he was younger, by covering his mouth. Cassie talked a lot about Diddy's mother because her alleged involvement in their relationship was a constant presence. Cassie said, "One day Janice sat on a couch and watched us while we were doing it. Then she would yell at Sean when she thought he was being too soft with me." Next, Cassie claimed that her song Me and You was actually inspired by Diddy's relationship with his mom. She said, "He told me his mom waited until he turned 18 to try out the things she had in mind. If you listen closely, you'll hear it." The worst part was when she talked about trips she took with Diddy. She said, "He took me to his father's grave and demanded that we do it right there. He told me his dad would be proud to see him fucking a bad bitch." Cassie also claimed that Diddy had disturbing fantasies involving his twin daughters. Many of those fantasies included Cassie and even their mother, Kim Porter. Cassie reportedly said, "That should have been a red flag for me. They were babies. Honestly, I think he was just scared someone might tell the truth, so he tried to bury all of it."
As a man, as a father, as a grandfather, and a great-grandfather, I can't even imagine what the fuck this is. I don't even know why there's a trial. Listening to this shit is ridiculous. It's outrageous. This guy needs a fucking 38 right in his fucking forehead. No trial. Blow his fucking brains out. He's having sex with his mother. I just can't fathom trying to understand this case or understand the complaint. I know later on I'm having an interview with the news media and they're going to be talking about the RICO law. I understand the RICO law. I testified in trials with the RICO law, so I understand the RICO law. Talking about the RICO law is one thing. This here, I've never heard anything like this in my entire life. And I'm involved in murders, I'm involved in the mob, I'm involved in some of the most brutal, horrible crimes you could imagine. I thought, up until I'm listening to this, tongue-tied when it comes to listening to this, his daughters, his granddaughter, men, boys, young girls, drugs, a freak off. This isn't a freak off. This is, they can call it whatever they want. This is pure evil and insanity. I don't know if any of the questions are, is he going to beat this trial? I don't know how he could beat this trial. I don't know how any woman in her right mind could sit on this trial as a juror. Listen to this one day after the other, after the other. I'm only listening to it for 10 minutes. I've followed it a little bit, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. I don't even want to listen to it. I've never heard of anything so disgusting in my life. Never. And I thought I've come across serial killers like Roy DeMeo and people gas piping their life. I thought that was brutal, disgusting. This has got that beat by, I don't know what. Now, I don't like sending people to jail. You can contradict me. I cooperated. I told the truth. I never tried to send people. I don't root for people to go to jail. I root for this motherfucker to go to jail. Worse. And I'll tell you what he's going to be in prison. He is going to be everybody's bitch. I got 22 fucking years in prisons. He's going to freak off. He's going to get fucked so much he'll think his fucking ace exploded. They're all going to bang his fucking brains in, and he warrants that. And I hope another bunch of inmates are watching it while it happens. Hey, bro, how does that feel? You want some drugs? I mean, whatever your questions are, ask me. I'm a little disturbed right now. Normally I answer them a lot calmer. I'm not calm right now. It's a shame that young girls across the country are going to listen to this. Even now, somebody just who's listening to me threw up, I think. I don't want to be biased in this. I want to try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I might be a little biased when it comes to him. I don't know how I could give him any kind of benefit of the doubt. Why did the government put in the RICO Act? Why did they just indict him on what he did to each and every person with drugs, kidnapping, child molestation, all of this stuff? He loses hands down. They're charging him with the RICO for this reason. The government is just as disgusting as he is. They are turning around. The RICO is meant to take his money and properties and everything. That's what the fuck they're looking at. That's why they put in RICO. RICO does not belong in this case. They developed the RICO for the mafia, Italian people, to go after the Italian people. And it's a corrupt organization. I know what the RICO law stands for. He don't have a corrupt organization. It's him. RICO has a statute like for the mafia. There's a boss, an underboss, a consigliere, captains, maid guys. This whole organization goes out and commits crimes, murder and all kinds of crimes. And it's an organization. And it's very easy for people to understand it. Now, it's a very complicated law. It went out after the Italians and the mafia to Hispanic people. I was in prison with Hispanic people, black people, who got hit with the RICO law, didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about. But it was an easier law for them to win cases, number one, and for them to confiscate the money. So to them, part of that thinking with the RICO is about money. Not just to find you guilty. They want to go after you, find you guilty, and then they want to pound their chest. They want his hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, whatever he has. They want that money. And if they lose this case, they lost it because of their own greed. RICO does not belong in this case as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but like I said, I've been involved in a lot of RICO on both sides of the RICO. So I do know about the RICO. And there's lawyers, talented lawyers, who literally have a hard time figuring this RICO shit out. But mostly it's about money. And it's about a corrupt organization to get everybody in. at once. I don't see them getting everybody in. I see them attacking him for the disgusting crimes that he's committed. You don't need a RICO. You just need those crimes. Who would sit on a jury, listen to those crimes, what I just listened to, and what I've been listening to, is going to find him innocent of what? No women, no men. We have kids in too. We have husbands, we have wives, we have daughters, we have granddaughters. What guy is going to find him not guilty? But they made the case harder for their greed with the RICO. I don't think it fits. I'm not a lawyer. I wish that lawyers listen to me and react to me and talk to me and tell me what they think about the case. But I don't see it as a RICO case. And I think that if he has any shot of beating this, it's because they put the RICO in it. People won't understand the RICO. They won't buy it the way they're looking at it, the government. They don't give a shit about his money. They care about his crimes. What do I care if he's got 200, 400, or $4 billion? I care about, he was pissing in a woman's mouth. He was kissing his mother. He wanted to fuck his daughters. I don't need no RICO to want to put him away or to take him out. Mafia-wise, we don't allow that kind of shit. If a guy came up with that, we would kill him. When you broke the line and you start killing people for no fucking reason, we killed you. This stuff, you would be dead as a doornail. If it leaked out to us, this has hurt the entire music industry. This has hurt, I have a lot of black friends. This has hurt black people. I know if I was a black man, I would be sick. If he was an Italian guy, I would be sick. I would say, thank God he's not Italian, because it's against all of us. And I think black people feel the same way. Who told me, Sammy, this is fucking, I never even thought of anything like this. Because you can't even imagine the story, because unless you're a half a degenerate, I would never, you could be freaky in certain ways or whatever you want to do, swingers or whatever you want to be. But this isn't freaky. This isn't freak off. I don't know the words. It's that brutal. When you walk out of that room, I would ask him if I was a lawyer. When you walked out of the room, you were happy, bro? When you saw some young 22, 23-year-old girl on the fucking floor being pissed on and fucked by 9 guys, did you really get off on that? How did you feel when she wobbled out of the room, couldn't even walk, didn't even know what the fuck happened to her? I don't think anybody on the planet would feel good with doing something like that. And some of the freaks that he's with, yes, some of it's consensual. They should be ashamed of themselves. Those women. They're a disgrace to every woman on the planet. Crying and sitting there pregnant, you should bury your fucking face in shame. And you watched it as well. You should be part of this indictment, Cassie. Not just him. Both of you should go to prison. If you like this episode of The Bullpen, the Mafia news station, watch the full video right here on YouTube. You can also catch every episode of the Bullpen podcast on Apple and Spotify. Hit the link in the description to listen now.